My name is Edgar Sosa. I'm 20 years old and I'm from Greenwich, Connecticut. And in my research, I developed a foliar pre-treatment for coffee rust. And what coffee rust is, it's a fungus that has been killing coffee for several years now. It was first discovered in 1976, and since then it has been around. But just to give you an idea of how bad this fungus is and why it is important to get rid of it, we're gonna travel back in time to where I used to live in Guatemala. So back in 2013, my family and I used to own a farm. So I used to work on that farm since I was a little kid. I always loved to be around the plants, the coffee plants, and in the mountains, all that cool stuff. So during that year, my family and I unfortunately lost a farm because of the fungus. And not only our farm, but the neighbors' farm and everyone at my hometown lost their farms as well. So everyone was left with nothing, pretty much. And it was pretty emotional, sad, upsetting at the same time, because that's all we used to do, all we know about, taking care of coffee, growing coffee, producing coffee. That was all life, in other words. So 3 years after I decided to move to the United States, you know, looking for a fresh beginning. So 2 years ago, I started my research in which I studied three different metals: copper, zinc, and manganese. And in my research, I wanted to use coffee rust, you know, because that's the fungus that I want to get rid of. But unfortunately, I couldn't use coffee rust because it's not permitted in the United States. So I had to use a mother fungus, which is called Alternaria. They're pretty similar. They're very, very similar. They're stomata invading fungus, both of them. They both, spotlight inside the stomata. In other words, they both grow inside the stomata, which is basically the mouth into the vascular system of the coffee plant. So what I did was, as you can see right here on the top middle, I used the dipping technique. In other words, I used to take a beaker with the nanoparticles on, and I'll dip the coffee plant in the nanoparticles, and I will let them sit for a day until the coffee until the nanoparticles dry out. And then the next day I will come, right here, as you can see there, I'll come with a spray and spray the plants with the fungus. So, and after that, I used to put them inside of a Ziploc bag, just to imitate, the humid environment of Guatemala, and also to make the fungus grow faster. So within 4 days of the infection, um, I went there and I checked the plants, and the plants were actually dead within those 4 days. It was pretty amazing to see them dead. I was really happy, especially because the only plants that didn't die were the ones that had the copper nanoparticles on, and the ones that didn't have the fungus. So in my research, I discovered that copper can actually stop the fungus from killing the plant, and at the same time, which is pretty amazing, it provides between 11 and 13% of growth. So it not only stops the fungus from killing the plant, but it also provides growth, which is pretty amazing. And also another thing that I discovered, something new that's really new, to be honest. I read so many papers about coffee rust and none of them talking about them, is that coffee rust might be also creating a biofilm. And in the bottom part, you can see that in 4 days, the process of the biofilm being created. After 4 days, you can see that the plant is completely covered with this biofilm. And by doing so, it is actually choking the plant. It doesn't let it breathe, in other words. And that's why the plant dies so quickly, and the plant can't respond to it. It dies really fast. So that's something new that I discovered on my research, and something that I'm really looking forward to do is to experiment with the actual fungus. And I'm pretty sure that copper will actually get rid of this fungus. All I have to do is experiment with the actual fungus. And thank you very much. That's pretty much my research.